The sound we're looking at today is this one. Can you remember which one this is? My turn. It's a stretchy one again. Listen carefully. If I turn this round, can we remember what the picture is on the other side? It's an animal. Snake. Snake. Good job. When it comes to writing our sound S, we have to start up the top again and we go slither down the snake. My turn. Up the top. Slither down the snake. Can you get your pointing finger and join in with me? Up the top. Slither down the snake. One more time, because sometimes this one can go back to front. So maybe your grown up at home can keep their eyes peeled to make sure that you do it the right way round. Up the top, and we go slither down the snake. Good job. Remember to watch the letter formation videos when you push the pencil pot in the classroom. And you could do a little tickled pink for a really, really good one. And then maybe a little green for growth if you think, I could do a little bit better with my letter writing of S. So let me practice again. And you can let us know how you get on. Now, if we were to think of some words that begin with S today, maybe some things that you could find around the house or some things that you could do. Let's think of the first one. What about saucepan? Saucepan. Wonder if you could find a little pan at home. You can get a little picture with it. What about slippers? Slippers. At least when you're at home school, we can wear our slippers, can't we? Because we can't wear our slippers when we go to real school. So maybe you've got your slippers on right now. So we've got saucepan, slippers, and I've got one more, but I'm being cheeky because it's actually two more. But this last one. Smile. Maybe you could take a little picture of you smiling today and share it with your teachers. But I did think that there is another word that begins with S that we could do. So if you don't want a smiling selfie, you might just want a silly one instead. My turn. Silly. So you could upload a smiling selfie or maybe even a silly one. You can choose. Now, just before we listen to our song, I'll remind you of the action. And we go, because remember, the snakes are slithering in the grass. I hope you join in at home.
The snake is in the grass, the snake is in the grass. The snake is in the...
To finish off our sound today, I'm going to read us a story that I hope you enjoy, and it's called Superworm. So listen carefully for any sounds that you hear in this story. Superworm is super long. Superworm is super strong. Watch him wiggle, see him squirm. Hip hip hooray for Superworm. Help, disaster, baby toad has hopped on to a major road. Quick, whatever can we do? Look, a superworm lasso. The bees are feeling bored today. They need a nice new game to play. Cheer up, bees, no need to mope. It's Superworm, the skipping rope. Beetle's fallen in the well. Is she drowning? Who can tell? Not to panic, all is fine. It's Superworm, the fishing line. Then toads and beetles, bees and bugs, brother snails and sister slugs, uncle ant and earwig ant, clap and cheer and chant this chant. Superworm is super long, Superworm is super strong. Watch him wiggle, see him squirm. Hip, hip, hooray for Superworm. Lots of s in that chant. The chant is carried on the air to Wizard Lizard in his lair. He mutters in his servant's ear, find that worm and bring him here. The servant crow is black and grim. Everyone is scared of him. They all let out a fearful shriek to see their hero in his beak. The wizard waves his magic flower. Now, Superworm, you're in my power, and you must tunnel, writhe and coil to find me treasure in this soil. Superworm is very cross to have a lizard as his boss, but when he tries to slink away, the wizard's magic makes him stay. For days he tunnels, twists and winds, but all the treasure that he finds is 2 small buttons, half a cork, a toffee and a plastic fork. The lizard flicks an angry tail. Have one last try, and if you fail to find that treasure down below, I'll feed you to my hungry crow. He doesn't sound a very pleasant lizard, does he? The crow is flapping through the night. Everyone looks up in fright. They see him perched upon an oak and listen to his dreadful croak. Superworm is good to eat. Superworm's a special treat. He'll be juicy, fat and firm. Hip, hip, hooray for Superworm. Action quickly at the double. Superworm's in frightful trouble. We must help him if we can. We must hatch a cunning plan. The garden creatures leave their home carrying a honeycomb. They jump and fly and crawl and creep and find the lizard fast asleep. They chew the petals off his flower to rob him of his magic power. The caterpillars fetch some leaves while busily the spider weaves. The web is strong, the web is tough, the web is plenty big enough. The wizard wakes. This isn't funny. I'm wrapped in leaves and stuck with honey. Then up the bees and beetles fly and lift the web into the sky. This is the place, and bang, crash, thump, the wizard's in the rubbish dump. And now, from somewhere underground, there comes a distant rumbling sound. The earth begins to heave, and then Superworm is back again. Superworm the swing, the slide, the hula hoop, the fairground ride. Superworm the belt, the hat, the crane, the train, and the acrobat. Then toads and beetles, bees and bugs, brother snails and sister slugs, uncle ant and earwig ant, clap and cheer and chant this chant. Superworm is super long, Superworm is super strong. Watch him wiggle, see him squirm. Hip, hip, hooray for Superworm. Superworm is so lucky to have so many friends looking out for him.